Hello, everybody. We have a very special show for you all today. I'm proud to announce we have a sponsored stream with Square Enix. Today, we will be playing the much anticipated title that released earlier today, Visions of Mana. And to lead us on this journey will be BOWIEtheHERO and eLmaGus. You can find additional details in our link above with !VOM in the chat. However, please be aware the stream may contain spoilers, especially since they both are such big fans that they have spent most of their day already playing. Additionally, while the game code and sponsorship were provided by Square Enix, our opinions are our own. And with that, take it away, my friends.
Thank you very much indeed, Sid. Congratulations, I guess, to the Mana team and to Square Enix for releasing another wonderful title in a very old series now. I think it came out in 1990 or 91. No, 91 was Final Fantasy Adventure's first outing. So yeah, 33 years old, and the first new title in the main line of it since Dawn of Mana in 2006. So about, over 15 years. So a long
It's been a while. It's been a long time, yeah.
But this is officially Seiken Densetsu 5. It is the 5th mainline title, which is very exciting. Megs and I have been given it a little bit of time, playing it a bunch, and I'm going to be showing off a different variety of things for you today. Obviously things like, gameplay, where it can start, in terms of how it kind of grows over time. I will be showing a little bit of later, but not very late games combat stuff to show you how much it builds into without spoiling too much in terms of classes or costumes or anything like that. And also be showing you a little bit earlier in the game and kind of getting into that story past the demo. So a nice variety of things for you. Do you want to get started, my friend, or should we?
Sure. I will start up my save file right after the demo ended. Troubled Waters.
So if you don't remember what happened at the end of the demo, our heroes had Val and Hina had met Morley and Karina, who are the Alms of Moon and Wind, respectively, and they're on their journey to the Mana Tree to, the Alms are on a pilgrimage to sacrifice themselves to basically restart the flow of mana into the world and kind of keep the world ticking over and not dying, which is a very handy thing, but obviously a big sacrifice for our alms to make. We made it to the other side of the boat journey onto the the continent where the capital of Illistana, capital of the deep, exists, where we'll meet up with the Arm of Water and continue.
Correct.
They're officials from Illistana.
But so if you haven't really played a Mana game before, Mana is very much, as a series, kind of I guess aesthetically and I guess narratively, is very much about I guess every living being in the world of these games and kind of their connection to Mana, the power of nature, the 8 elements that make up our world: fire, earth, water, wind, moon, wood, light and dark. Strange elements, but there you go. And there's a little bit of a uniqueness to it for that degree, because the Mana Tree is almost kind of, if you think about any kind of Nordic mythology, is kind of similar to the tree of Yggdrasil, the life-giving tree, that kind of I guess kind of brings life to the world, and it kind of plays into those kinds of themes quite regularly. But that kind of connection that people have with the elements and with nature is it's a big thing, and the power it has, and what can go wrong when it's not respected or harnessed for ill deed, I guess.
Ill deed? We would never.
Yeah, you'd think.
What do you mean?
There's always someone who wants to just mistreat things, and it's very, very frustrating. The games are obviously gorgeous. I mean, I'm gonna fanboy a little bit and just be like, this game looks amazing, as you can probably tell.
It does, though.
Yeah. Are you? Because you're playing on the PC version, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm on the PS5 version, which, when it comes to visuals, you've either got performance mode, which prioritizes 60 FPS for slightly less fidelity, and then one that will probably be at 30 FPS, sometimes bumps up, but will be prioritizing the way it looks, and in image quality mode it looks brilliant, and still runs very, very well. But the PC version obviously will have a lot more of that crispness to it.
Yeah, disclaimer, I do have to play on 60 FPS as well, because, PC is old, so it would look even crispier if your PC is up to date, but I can't.
Yeah. It's it's really fascinating to kind of that there's a lot more options like that happening with games nowadays. That PC players can always like tweak it a little bit more. But yeah, it is a really, really good looking game. If you've played any of the previous Mana games, I mean, if we're going like really old school and thinking back to like the original Game Boy and SNES games, they're obviously very, very good looking games for their time, and the way that the worlds were developed and designed was very unique and very luscious, I think is a nice word to use, and the flora and fauna of the world was very clear and stark and very detailed, and I think that's something that Visions has really brought forward, because Visions as a whole game and kind of what it is as a release is kind of a big deal, because as we mentioned earlier, the Mana series mainline titles, we haven't really had a new one since Dawn of Mana on PS2, and that's a long time ago. But in 2016, we had the release of Adventures of Mana, which came out on mobile phone and Vita only, and it was another remake. I say another because Seiken 1's got like 5 versions now, but Adventures of Mana was a remake of Seiken Densetsu 1, the first Mana game, and it did really, really well. And then many years later, I hear wind that Secret of Mana is also being remade, and then Trials of Mana is being remade, and there's an actual genuine desire to actually bring these games, because I thought maybe Adventures of Mana was a one-off, and then Secret of Mana happened. I was like, well, it's a really popular one. But the Mana team have genuinely like dug their heels in and tried to bring this series back to the modern day. And after the huge success of Trials of Mana, obviously a remake of Seiken 3, bringing a completely different feel to that remake series, and just doing so well at kind of like modernizing an already well-loved game, kind of gave them the springboard to kind of push towards a brand new game at long last. And there's a lot of that DNA kind of flowing through this game, but obviously just much more built upon as well.
The one who raised me also lives here. I'll introduce you to him when we get into the capital.
Must be nice to have a guardian who cares.
Rocking the dancer, I see, eLmaGus.
Of course, my favorite class. Across games, of course. Since I only have played about 8 to 9 hours, I don't know much about what other classes you get later, but, Dancer is definitely my favorite so far. For sure.
It's a good one. It took me a while to get used to fighting with fans with Karina.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know. This is one of those things in this game, though, like the more classes you unlock, the more basic actions you gain, and so the further into the game you get, the more the battle system opens up, and you can really like lean into you'll learn, I guess, more what it does, and then it kind of everything clicks after a while.
Yeah, the big thing is you have a wide variety of weapons. Depending on your class, you can only always equip one, but they all kind of behave differently in combat. So it will take a little bit to get used to like a new class or a new weapon, but and you, like Bowie said, you do unlock more stuff the further you go. But yeah, it's good fun and very, very high variety.
I think that was the fear a lot of people had, I guess. I mean, not to kind of like. Well, yeah, it's like I remember discussion around when the demo came out. There was some mixed opinion I found. Some people were like, "This is great. I'm really, really enjoying this," and some people kind of going, "Well, it didn't seem to have as much on offer as Trials had," and I think this is that thing. Is that like it's a much slower. I would say much slower. It is a generally slower start than Trials, because Trials gives you like everything you can do from the word go, really, and it only kind of like just gives you more of that same thing. Whereas this game has wider variety, but you've got to build into it. So a slightly slower start for a much bigger payoff the further into the game you get. But yeah, now we're actually getting some combat going. We can probably talk about like the basics of it. So yeah, combat, normally if you play Trials of Mana again, I'll use that as like the kind of comparison point. It kind of has an almost Dynasty Warriors style combat system where you've got the whole, like, you can press triangle to do a special attack. Then you press square triangle, or like, normal special, and it'll do another one. Then you do normal special, or normal special, and you build those combos up, and the special finisher is different every time you do a combo. But this game doesn't really have quote-unquote finishers. One attack button, the normal attack button does one thing, and the special attack button does another thing, and you'll kind of build up, and you can just basically jumble them together to create your own combos. So different weapons will behave in different ways, and you'll get extensions to those things like stagger pressing or delay pressing an attack. Rather than going normal, if you go normal, you'll sometimes do a thing like knock enemies up into the air, or like do a big long range like knock away. So you'll build up different combos like that, and again, every weapon kind of operates slightly differently around that. But the big thing that kind of is added to this game that kind of changes everything up about the way it feels and about how much you actually have to do is the elemental vessels. The elemental vessels are amazing, and I love them, and I'll bang on about that a little bit. Pardon, sorry?
I'll wait for it to recharge, just so...
Oh, right, oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, they're on a cooldown, as you see. When you land normal attacks, the cooldown shortens. But yeah, so they're really, really powerful. So Silver Boomerang here, and the Lunar Orb. So the Silver Boomerang like knocks enemies up into the air and traps them up in the air, so you can do nice big aerial combos on them. And the Lunar Orb can like pause enemies in time so that they can't move, and you can whack away at them. It deals massive damage, and it has a bonus effect to it. So the more vessels you have, the more options you have. You can only bring 3 vessels into battle, but then that obviously creates that question of what particular vessels do you need for the fight ahead of you, or what ones are you comfortable with, or what enemies, not elements specifically, but what enemy movesets are going to be best stamped out with which vessel. Which I think is a really, really cool kind of question to ask players, because it allows this flexibility of comfort, but also optimization of, dealing with a certain element. But yeah, they're really good because not only are they combat relevant, they're relevant in all kind of parts of the game. And I think that's a really big thing for me. Not many games do it. I was mentioning it. I was talking about it earlier today with some friends, but like, I think Mystic Quest Legend on the SNES, you'd know this. Weapons, can be used to, an axe can be used to knock down like trees, but can also be used in battle. Or the claw, which can grab you and go somewhere or climb things, is also a combat thing. Not many games have it where like items are combat ready, but also exploration ready as well. So yeah, it's good. Also to answer some questions as well that are coming through in chat, just to kind of keep it responsive as well. Respecking is a thing that is rare, I think. You are able to do it. I personally have only found one item that allows me to respec a character. They're called goddess scales. And I've only found one myself, but you can respec. I assume at some point. Oh, sorry. Is that a big spoiler?
It's. I mean, not really.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, it is a thing you can do, but it's limited, basically. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy them later on in the game, but like, they're rare.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was something in the 3rd game, Second Densetsu 3, which whatever it translates to, that was a really rare drop from enemies to get a respec token. So I'd imagine it's probably existing in this game too, right?
Yeah, it does. I'm trying to remember what it was because in Trials you could do it. Yeah. And it was pretty rare. And that was the only way to unlock like all the costumes in that game, because like in the Trials HD remake, you could unlock the costumes by like unlocking the class. Yeah. You had to kind of respec to get them all if you wanted to. But yeah, in this game obviously you can get all the costumes in one playthrough. It's fine. At any point, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, I picked up some side quests, which this game has as well. This one wanted me to find a mushroom, and now I'm gonna go and deliver that. Yeah. Very good stuff. I wasn't expecting stuff like that, but it's very nice to explore, because like otherwise you wouldn't have sometimes, because the areas are so huge. you wouldn't have a lot of reason to really run around that much. Sure, there's like, treasure chests and stuff like that, but, this is an added incentive that I think is very nice for the exploration part of the map.
New experience.
Yeah. It's very easy for because this game, I think the wording is semi-open world. It's it's not one massive open world, but it's built into regions that are quite open. That this beautiful open space you can go and explore, and it's very easy to make it so that you can only go to a place if there's something relevant to you. All those blue dots are the place to go to, right? You just want to go to the blue dots, but there might be things in between that you also want to go to, and that makes it really handy. And with every open world comes a mount, of course, or quicker movement.
Yeah.
Quicker movement, yeah.
It doesn't really make sense that we have these, actually, but, we don't question.
Some guy had them, gave us a bell, crack on.
It's good, because, the maps are very big. You can see here that this is just, one small area, if you will. There's still so much I haven't discovered at this point. There's another side quest, like you said.
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah, if you press triangle.
It's not triangle for me, sorry.
Oh, sorry. PS5 brain. So yeah, on that map, every single forest or tree looking symbol is one of those zones. So yeah, there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So getting around is a bit difficult, but the mount makes it a lot easier. And you can punt enemies. Very great.
Yeah, it's a real shame that they instantly heal back, so you can't slowly knacker them down.
I was trying to do that. Yeah, I was very, very, very sad that didn't work actually.
Yeah. They did change it from the demo. This is a nice thing that if you played the demo, you might remember that getting off of Pickle after you jumped onto him is quite slow, but they actually sped that up now. Here we go. Are you going for it? What do you reckon?
I mean, I got a class strike, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
Just like in Trials, you have the CS gauge, as they call it, which is the class strike gauge. You saw it in the bottom left. So far, I've only played 9 hours. I only have 100%. In Trials, you remember, if you played it, you had up to 400% for, increased or more powerful class strikes. I'm not sure if that's going to happen here. I sure hope so, but... we'll find out eventually if we play the video game. This is a rare enemy called a Nemesis, which is way, way, way stronger than a normal enemy would be and has way more nasty attacks. I shouldn't get hit by it. Also, if you're noticing in the bottom right, if I hold my R1 button as if you will, I've assigned a bunch of shortcuts so I can use actions very quickly in battle, like items and spells. I should have used defense down, which I didn't. But yeah, right now with Karina here, she's a dancer, and I have spec'd her in a way where she should be doing reasonably high damage with magic, which is why I'm spamming Thunderbolt with her.
Yeah. Magic is really interesting in this game, I find. Early on, it felt like it wasn't kind of doing much, and then I kind of... and then it happened.
You need the right things for it to work out, yeah?
Yeah. I feel like in this game, particularly, because it's so much about, jumping between things, I've been jumping between classes and elements. I feel like elemental weakness is so much more of a thing in this game than it maybe is in previous Mana games. I say that Seiken 2, Secret of Mana, just magic's ridiculous. It's incredibly powerful in that game, but
yes,
yeah, it definitely feels like, at least for a game of this ilk, right? Because as much as Secret of Mana has got very, very powerful mechanics in it, it is built in a very particular way. Combat is more, for lack of a better description, a bit more staccato, where there's these moments that happen that it's regular kind of hit, action, but it's always one thing. Whereas this is a lot more frenetic. There's a lot more consistent action going on. So compared to Trials and how much elemental stuff happened there, this feels a lot more like weighty.
Can I even get up here? I don't remember. I shouldn't try, to be honest.
Oh, there. Oh, I know you were. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where you were.
So the AI did very, very great in that Nemesis fight I did. They both died, which is great. Very good. The AI works as far as I have tried. Very, very well, actually. I'm quickly going to show this off. You have, like, in every mana game, usually you have, like, you know, you can set up your characters with the AI, what they should do, what they should target. And if you play around with this, it works out pretty well, but sometimes, you know, they will stand and stuff, which is like, you know, it happens. But you're supposed to, like, kind of switch around in combat anyway, right? With the characters, I could, like, be switching with my D-pad, as you will. But for now, since I've only played 9 hours, I'm not switching very often in combat just yet. I'm sure as I go further along with more options with, like, vessels and stuff, that will become more pertinent, where I would want to switch. Sure, we'll save. Why not? One really cool thing is you got a nice little at the save points here, the meridians as they're called. You got a fast travel option where you can travel to areas, whereas if you were only using the map, you can only travel in that map. This only works for continents though, so since I'm on a new continent now, I can't go back to the one I was on where I started the game. Unfortunate, really, but I'm sure later on I will find an option to get back to other continents. I'd wager.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, so here's a fun fact. I completely forgot that you could do fast travel from the meridians as well. So when I was doing my playthrough, I was just doing area map things. So I do a fast travel to one end of the map, do the load to the next one, and then go to the next area map, just go across, and I'm an idiot, basically. I just completely forgot.
It's one way to get around.
It is one way to get around. I just forgot that meridians were better.
Yeah. The reason you would want to do that anyway with the map traveling is that the further you go, the more vessels you unlock, the more actions you unlock on the map, right? Like there's like little things that I haven't encountered yet where you can use an elemental vessel in order to do something on the map with it. So if you get new vessels, there might be stuff unlocked on earlier maps with that. So you might want to go back to earlier maps just to check if you can do some new stuff there.
And there is so I didn't do that just as a thing, and the only reason I bring that up is because like
shaking my head.
You can go and do it, but the thing is most areas will have multiple sets of elements, so going back with more of them in hand, you'll kind of like do it in one go, or you can do it bit by bit. The reason you might want to do it bit by bit rather than all in one go is the biggest thing with the elementite is that when you have, because you either have actions to like help you explore, but you also have the elementite, which gives you +5 EP, which is your points to basically unlock more passives and more abilities via your classes. We'll have a look at the elemental plots in just a bit. But yeah, it allows you to kind of unlock a little bit more in that side of it. So if you go back and do a little bit of backtracking early, you can get more EP and then unlock things earlier and have that earlier in your arsenal rather than kind of like waiting a little bit. Yeah, because it is quite an exponential jump in terms of how much certain things cost as you go through the game. So yeah, it's a good idea to kind of like balance what you feel you need and what you like might have for comfort's sake.
There are many places within the city that are particularly popular with visitors.
I don't actually remember. Was it in a demo that you could already do the plot stuff, like at least look at it?
Corners of the world.
You can see what it is. So I've been able to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what all the classes do, but you need to unlock the elemental plot expansions to find out the cost of EP.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the thing. So I know what's coming, but I don't know if I can get it or not.
There is stuff.
Yeah, there is
Play the
stuff.
game to find out.
certainly.
I think what's really good about this as well, just to answer another quick question. I haven't well.
You too,
Is there? There was an interesting question. Are there cannons in this game? The answer is, I mean, do you mean like cannons to travel?
He's gonna spoiler.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just trying to think.
He's gonna spoiler.
I'm not going to
Beware.
spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. Are there cannons in the game? I'm just going to leave it as that as a question, you know, because a cannon could mean anything, right? I've found a cannon.
Much appreciated.
I'm not going to tell you what it does or how it's utilized, but I found a cannon.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at the plots, shall we?
Yeah.
So as you can see, normally I'm going to go to Karina because she has the things locked yet. You need a specific item in order to unlock the next part of your elemental plot. So you start with the basic stuff. Every elemental vessel that you get will give you another class upgrades. Upgrade, I say. It's just a different class, which is actually very nice. So your character can get a different role. So Karina right now has basically, she has the option to be a debuffer as a dancer. Very good, best option actually. Or you can make her a buffer and support her if you choose the Luna vessel, which, why would you do that, honestly? Anyway, in order to upgrade that even further, you get 4 action or four abilities here, which might be passive abilities or, you know, action abilities like Cyclone and Defenseless. Or, you know, you can also get upgrades to your combos and stuff, which is very cool. In order to get more of that, you need the plot item. I love how that's called plot item, which Val has got by this point. After you defeat the Kraken, which was the boss in the demo, you get that, and he was able to get the 3 next things here. And as you can see, in order to learn new stuff, you need to invest your elemental points, which you can see at the very, very top of the screen right there. I've already spent all for Val because, yeah, well, he got the upgrade. Well, but if I were to spec into Jin now, it would cost me 5 points, 10 points, 15 points, and as Bowie mentioned, it gets exponentially more expensive, as you can see. I don't know how much this is going to cost, like, the further we go down, but I assume it's a lot. The good thing is you don't really... I mean, you do need the elemental points, but you do have all the way in the top right, there's an extra currency that is in some treasure chest, so you can find on the field, that's called gold clovers, which you can... what's the word? Transform into elemental points to help out with if you are really gunning for like an ability that you see, you can try and make it to there without actually like spending too many elemental points. Yeah, as far as abilities go, like I said, you can get upgrades to your combos or an elemental break, which empowers your vessel attack in combat if you hold it down. Very good stuff. You have passive abilities that only work if you have that class equipped. So if you learn this, let's say Bless Guard, allows survival at 1 HP when struck with a fatal blow. Very pertinent in most RPGs, really. You get hit, you don't die once, which is very cool. But it only works if he is equipped with the Luna vessel. You can't actually use that when you are equipped with the Jin vessel or any other vessel that we would get in the future. And once you learn an ability, though, like Howlmark here, for instance, you can equip that while using other vessels, which is very good. So for Karina, for instance, which who has Defenseless, which if you play a lot of RPGs, you know buffs and debuffs are your friend. You might want to use that with a different class. You might want to equip that ability. All right, as a quick rundown of the system, you can also, like, you have your moves here, you can put them on and then put them onto shortcuts if you want to. It's all very, very neat and tidy. And you can experiment a lot. We don't have very much yet. I'm kind of dreading, honestly, going further into the game because there ought to be a lot of things that you can do. There ought to be a lot of experimentation with
Not that I have many others
abilities and what classes. I am a person that has choice paralysis usually.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of come to a decision about if you want to like mix things up. I find like if I find a comfort in something, I'm gonna be like, right, I like that. I really enjoy that particular thing. I'm gonna stick with that because I know it works and I'm happy with it. So it's really annoying when the game throws something at me that I then have to change. I'm like, please, let me have fun. Yeah. The biggest thing with it, with like the classes as well, is that usually the first, like, you know, the back end of the you may have seen it when you were having a look on there, but the back end of the plot expansions are all passives. So like the last 3, I think, for most characters and most classes are passives. You know, like the big skill is like, I think the second expansion is like the big skills there, and the rest is all passive, which just makes everything come together. And it just, yeah. So you kind of get a lot of your abilities kind of front loaded. So you get all the things you can do, and then the classes will kind of like lean into it. But then their uniqueness and their kind of like their strength will really shine as they can kind of grow. Yeah, that's the thing. They just keep growing as their class as you kind of unlock that and go a bit further. So like everything is always building up all the time. You've got the basic actions consistently going. You've got the ebb and flow of the classes becoming more and more prominent as you go further as well as just the options you have in battle. It's a very kind of nice cascading effect.
Let me see.
Resist burn. Ooh. Oh yeah, you also have the option of ability seeds. Actually, that's another thing you can do. So additionally to just having the elemental plot and the abilities you learn here, you can also equip ability seeds, which there's some that just raise your stats, right? Like as normal, but also you get actual like active ability stuff like healing lights and arrow rain, which is a trap, and all that stuff that you can just like additionally put on in order to customize your character even more.
What I like about this actually, and what's really good, is that when you're having a look at the classes, statistically, there's not like a class that's just an absolute monster that's far better than everything else. I mean, there is maybe 1 or 2 that has quite high stats, but nothing is like genuinely beating out the base classes by such a large margin that the base class is inherently just useless.
Where can you see the stats actually? From here?
From gear.
Yes. So like you can switch the vessels on multiple with multiple options. You can go to this menu, or you can go to the elemental plot, or you have a quick thing at the start of the menu where you can also do that. Yeah, you can also see the stat changes here. So like he's currently in Aegis, which is a tank class. Very cool. I love tanks. Or you could be, excuse me, a Rune Knight if you equip this vessel, and you can see the set changes on the right here, where he would lose a lot of defense, but as Bowie said, even the base class, it doesn't really have that much lower stats than the tank would have.
And so even though the Rune Knight has less attack than the Aegis, I think, as well, really weirdly. But then the Rune Knight has things that boost its attack when Saber Magic is active. So that's kind of the gimmick of Rune Knight, right? But then what the ability seeds do is they make it so that you can add passives or add abilities to your base class that make it still viable. And also the base class for each character does have an element attached to it. It's not a non-elemental class because every single character represents an element. Val comes from Tiania, the fire village, so his base class, the class strike, is fire elemental. See, if you're fighting water enemies, you could have 2 classes that technically have a fire class strike. So yeah, there is actually a little bit of kind of weird, like very niche, albeit, strategizing that happens around the base class because of the ability seeds and the inherent elements attached to it, which I think is better.
So far, I haven't had to pay attention too much to weakness and resistance and stuff, but the game does show you that in combat as well, where the numbers will pop up in orange, I believe, if they're weak to it, and then in blue if they resist, and it will say immune if you can't actually hit them with it, right?
Yeah. So I think to kind of answer some questions about like gear, but this is always a question I get when it comes to like RPGs, and that's that how does equipment work? Generally, weapons are just stat sticks. There will be some that have like their own little niches, like you have a sword that might have a bit more magic attack for certain builds and certain classes, but generally they are stat sticks, but they have appearances, and so when you get a weapon, you can then glamour whatever weapon you like over one if you don't like the current design. But generally, the majority of the customization comes from the elemental vessel, your ability seeds, and yeah, I mean, that's basically it, because the class brings so much to it. The vessel, the weapon, and the passives. So that's kind of where you're usually doing a lot of building, rather than just armor and weapons.
If you are just out for the looks, though, you can glam your characters if you want to. For weapons, I know every weapon you get the glam for, so you can just like switch between whatever weapon you want to. I'm not sure how it is for outfits. Like, I think your class outfit is how you look like, unless you have the costumes from the deluxe edition, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think the outfits are all cool. So I mean,
yeah, they are cool. I think the superstar mana outfits are just kind of like if you wanted to run around with a sumo outfit they are pretty cute. But like, I think, you know, the outfits in this game are, you know, nice and varied and have a very clear aesthetic depending on element or depending on character.
Yeah.
You know, color schemes are a very obvious thing, you know, like you know, if you have the Lumina vessel, what color do you think all of the armor is going to be? Like
purple.
Oh, a nice guess. We'll see, shall we?
Let's see here. Glamming. There you go. Appearance. So you can choose, like, since I have these two lances and shields, you can like choose which one. I guess I'll choose a different one now, just to be different. But hey, you can actually equip the normal one too. That's neat. So you would look normally, and then we have the deluxe edition special, the sumo outfit for him, which is very great. We'll leave that off.
Sumo.
She only has the Reese outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can basically.
I'm always a fan of the outfits. They're great for donation incentives, right?
There is that. And great for donation incentives. RPG Limit Break has an RPG focused speedrunning event every year. Raises money for Nami.
Where's that coming from?
An ad read within an ad read within an ad read. Let's go.
Yeah.
Wait, what am I thinking?
Oh yeah, by the way, you have this nice little dialogue when you run around in town, but if you are more into just like progressing, you can also teleport to like important points in town, which is like shops and stuff. Other things that I haven't really unlocked yet. But you would miss the little bits in between, which is a bit unfortunate.
What is good about that is that they also unlock even before you've run around the shops. At least you can go straight to a shop, unless I mean sometimes the game will like.
It will actually, in the top left, it will tell you whenever a point where you can warp to will unlock. So that will be the indicator for that. But I like running around in cities especially because you know you have these little dialogues that are very fun and hilarious in some cases, of course. You don't want to miss those.
Oh yeah. Mana is a very whimsical, silly kind of series, I guess, in a way. You know, there are some serious, like, you know, storylines and some very important bits going on, but it always tells it in a very light-hearted and kind of like warm way. You know,
No, nothing I
that makes
can
sense.
about. An elm doesn't really need material possessions, after all.
Maybe not, but I still...
How was the palace? You just came from there, right?
So these two are obviously Val and Hina, who are kind of your protagonists of the game. They both hail from the father, Freudian slip, the Fire Village, father, and basically Hina is named the Armor of Fire, and Val is the soul guard to protect her, and they kind of go on this adventure together, and obviously they're very much in love and all that kind of stuff, and they just want to be like, oh, we want to travel the world together forever, and obviously, so you know, there's going to be a lot of intrigue around, you know, their journey and that relationship that unfolds. But yeah, they're kind of like who the story revolves around, I guess.
Your disguise is fooling no one.
But yeah.
I mean, the basic premise is you travel around, you collect an arm for each element, and then they are supposed to be sacrificed at the monastery to keep the world alive. Like, that's basically like what they tell you at the very, very start.
And really weirdly, everyone's just like, yep, I'm game. Let's crack on.
Let's do that. Nothing is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
May I ask what was so pressing?
So all of the Mana games as well, like if you're kind of a newcomer to the Mana series, you don't need to have played 1 through 4 to play 5. All of them are essentially, separate worlds, separate stories. If you've ever played a Breath of Fire game, they do that thing that's similar in Breath of Fire, where there's always a windier in a Breath of Fire game, right? There's always like certain things that are always static. Every Mana game has, well, a Mana tree, but like you'll see kind of names pop up, like Wendell is a place that that is like in Seiken 3 and Seiken 1, and all that kind of stuff. You'll generally have like names that will kind of be similar across different games, but that's usually just it. You can go down the whole like mega theory craft like mindset of like the whole Nordic mythology, Tree of Yggdrasil, world rebirth stuff if you want, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's just standalone.
In order to fulfill the duties of the alms, the governance of Illistana would fall to my younger brother Ian and Passar.
So yeah, we're at the we've just kind of, in terms of the narrative where we are, we've just finished the demo and we're kind of going to the next area where we meet who's just revealed herself with a very good disguise here, Palomina, the queen of Illistana, who reveals that she has been named the Alm of Water, which she hasn't told the populace yet. There's a reason for this, why she hasn't like gone public with it. And yeah, so kind of we've now got another person to join our retinue, but she has issues that she needs to sort out before she can properly join us. She's also the person who has to kind of do what's called the rite of initiation, which is a thing that every single arms convoy needs to do before they make their way to the Mana Tree.
But it was not always so robust. The rulers of the past have been fickle in their governance, at times compassionate, at times cruel to their people. It had always been my intention to leave behind a sturdy civic foundation, so that my successor might flourish in his role as ruler.
I'm out of coffee. It's fine. we're getting through this.
You're asking me? I'm an Alm. I have been chosen to offer up my soul. I don't think it matters.
We just accept our fate. It's fine.
I hope I did not offend you for asking a curious.
I think it's very interesting though how like how normally there's like you're gonna get lambasted by like discourse around the nature of these kinds of things in certain games. It's like big like spoiler or like story moment that kind of goes, this is actually bad, and everyone goes whereas actually like this world is so kind of like, it's so built into the fabric of this world that like rather than these big moments, there's like these small little conversations, and it's so it kind of these little things of, oh, is this actually really interesting, or is this a good thing? Like the questions are kind of small and subtle and kind of don't really tend to like sit too much on the story, but you can see the characters like contemplate it and grow through their questioning over time, if that makes sense. Which I think is nice storytelling. Again, heavy subject, but
Is this a present for your little lady friend? Maybe.
Yeah, for a Mana game, like, I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but there are some things that happen that I definitely did not expect.
It's not place, but
Yeah.
if you two were thinking about your future, we wish you both the best of happiness.
We definitely live in an age where like storytelling in games and RPGs are definitely seen as kind of like a storytelling genre. They are games that have expansive stories. They'll always be gameplay experiences to me first and foremost, but they do have rich story, and we do live in a world where like games are telling stories in really big ways and really exciting and fun ways. It's kind of nice to have like, not kind of like shy away from the grandiose nature of the subject matter, but the actual storytelling be a little bit more palatable and a bit more laid back in certain areas, which it allows you to kind of like dip your feet into serious subject matter without kind of getting too overwhelmed by like the depths to which you have to kind of like really explore it, And Mana has always been quite a light story series,
This is the pendant
It's a present.
You bought this for me, Val?
I wanted to get you something, considering all we've been through.
It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Good.
The sun might
Good.
disappear at the end of
Actually, I actually don't know. Are you playing in English or Japanese right now? I can't remember.
I am playing in English for the stream, of course. I would never.
I would never subject the people to the Japanese voiceover. Oh, that's harsh.
Me? No.
You do have the option, basically. You do have
Yes.
the option to play in Japanese and English.
Would
which is
people
a
be
standard.
interested in hearing that? I can switch. It's easy.
I haven't actually listened to it yet. I probably should.
It's very good, as per usual. Like Square tends to have their set of Japanese voice actors that like just do a banging job.
I just wanted to be
Like I usually play these games with Japanese voiceovers. Sorry, English voice cast. I apologize for that. But,
How dare you?
they are good. I like it very much.
when you're having fun.
I definitely am. I'm enjoying a bunch of the characters coming through. Karina's been really sassy throughout, so she's been fun.
I wish the way
Although I will say, it makes no sense that she has a Southern American accent when no one else not anyone in her village.
I wasn't going to mention it.
I'm happy to talk about it. It's fine. It's fun because it doesn't really matter really. But like, no one in her village, not even her parents, have that accent. So I don't know why she does. But like, you know, I'm wondering if the Japanese, because normally the Southern American accent is used for a Kansai accent. The Japanese Kansai accent is like considered quite a thick accent in Japanese, so they use the American Southern accent for that kind of like stand-in. And I'm wondering if in the Japanese version, every other character in Longren had the Kansai accent as well.
Queen's chambers? Is that okay?
Maybe.
To learn. Maybe. Oh, see, he's making me want to play the game in Japanese to find out.
Supersedes any worries of privacy on my part.
Alright, I'll be skipping these cutscenes.
Yeah. We do want to show you some more combat and fun stuff. So,
We need some stuff.
There is no need to soften your sentiments on my account. I apologize on his behalf.
see, my man ran all the way to the palace. Like that's dedication to showing off the grandiose nature of it.
I couldn't tell. I tried actually teleporting here.
Oh, you couldn't?
You can't.
Okay.
You can't.
Dang.
Not now. No. Hold Y to skip. Palomina joined the party.
Yay! So Secret of Mana has what, eight weapons? 8 weapons in that, and you've got like what, 6 weapons in Seiken 3. Final Fantasy Adventure, Seiken 1, the first Mana game has like, I don't know, 7 or 8 as well. Every character comes with a weapon set based on their class. They'll have a variety of weapons. Palomina has some pretty banging weapons. Like, I saw her weapon list and I was very excited for one of them in particular. Well, 2 of them in particular.
And we got a new vessel.
Oh yeah,
Because they found it. Alright.
because they found it. Yeah,
That's
the way.
I mean, what
ahead.
can I say? What can I say? That's how it is.
I do like that. I mean, again, the way you find vessels is interesting. Sometimes it's really kind of like a hard-earned vessel, and sometimes it's just silly. So class changing. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Palomina's just joined. She's a caster. She's the Angela of this game, if you will.
Yes, I should probably go through here just to show off the stats, I guess. Yep.
Her basic weapon is a flail, so she has a mace and a chain mace, which is awesome. But we'll have a look at what else she has.
So if you were to switch to Sylphid or Luna, she would have boots as weapon. Okay. And then if you do use the Undine or Undyne vessel, sorry.
Sorry, you can say.
No.
Say it however you like. Yeah, you do get these wonderful little, like, I guess, anime montages.
She has a freaking scythe. Which is like...
Magical
I was
girl
like,
transformation, fantastic.
Yeah,
A caster with a scythe. I was like, Okay,
Yes.
Definitely a
sure.
Square game. Definitely a Square game.
I'm pretty sure a sickle was in Legend of Mana, but the sickle was in Final Fantasy Adventure. The first game, they had a sickle, and it never happened again until Legend, and then it never happened again until now. I'm so happy to see this weapon back, dude. Like, it's
Yeah,
cool.
she has this costume, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's got Black Pearl, hasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got Black
I'll
Pearl.
have to make her do damage with spells.
Move damage.
So the costumes are just purely cosmetic. They don't impact stats or anything in a significant
Oh, no,
way.
They do.
So they're linked to the
Okay.
classes. When you equip a vessel, you change into a different class, and it comes with a costume.
I see.
So,
I
yeah.
see.
It's directly linked to your setup.
Yeah, because some games they just have those purely cosmetic, and you can do them whenever. But
Hey, we
I
showed
always
this
like-
earlier. Depending on what class you can see on the right, the stats do change.
I see.
Depending on what class you have. This class is just straight up better, huh? Weird.
It do be like that sometimes.
Right. I have to learn stuff, of course. I've just blindly chosen this now. Ice Smash. So you can either learn it like one by one, or you can go all the way up here and it will do it automatically for you, which I'm just going to do. We learned Ice Smash. This is Fluid Flourish restores 50%. Oh, that's nice. We like that. Learn Spike Freeze. And it's just a huge chunk of ice. Cool. And then we obviously have to put that on. Actually, I like that on here and this on here. Yeah. Good. You can customize every character with like what they have in their shortcuts.
Yeah. What's really nice about that actually is that you can have different spells. A spell doesn't have to be on the ring menu to be in the shortcut. So you can actually equip 12 abilities, 8 in the ring menu and 4 on the shortcut if they're all different, and then you'll be able to use more stuff. So that's a nice little thing to kind of give yourself more options. You just need to remember what's where.
All right, we gotta go up there.
Seems like a really nice way to customize combat and give you a bunch of decision-making trees, so you can actually build your character your way.
Yeah, it all kind of folds into each other. You don't have to hit the enemies, but it's always satisfying to do it. Every time.
Excuse me, I think you do have to hit the enemies.
Sorry, you're right. That is part of the rules.
It's just like running over the furniture with a Segway in Rebirth. It has to be done.
Yeah.
All right. Then, welcome to the crew, Palomina.
I am glad.
Tour Cosmo Soul in Star with our wheelies.
I have gathered some crystals.
Jump, please. Thank you.
You are as brisk as the breeze.
I hit all of them. Sorry, my bad.
I missed one. Go back.
It does nothing, really. It's just fun. Alright, we got a save point here. I shall put a save here. Sure, why not?
Just
Save
quickly
often.
before.
Yes.
Yes. Oh God. Yes. Yeah. This game is very. This game is. I like to kind of think of this as like it's a bit old school in a certain variety. The game does autosave, but the autosaves are actually a bit more spread out than you might immediately think. Dying just takes you straight back to the menu. So if you haven't saved for a while and you have like, if you've been in an area and you're exploring an area for a long time and you haven't like changed areas to get an autosave. You might just end up being like, oh, I just died to a nemesis and I've lost all my progress. Speaking of dying, to the left of Magus right now, you might stumble upon.
Am I going to? Okay.
You don't have to fight them. You can show them. In some areas, you might come across these ruins, and you're like, hum-de-dum-de-dum, it's completely fine. I'm running around having fun. Oh wait,
Makes my hair stand on end.
Curious.
what's the first number on that?
For now, we must continue on to the Luca Ruins.
It says a 1 at the end.
Think I'm
Yeah.
gonna die.
It's a big boy.
But yeah, there do exist very big friends.
600 damage. Very good. And so the journey ended. That's the video game. GG.
Yeah.
Good to know there's a reason to backtrack.
Yeah.
That is a good thing to note too, because each one of the Square games kind of has its own thing with quick saving. Because like 16 auto saves when you stub your toe and breathe, and Rebirth is a little bit more like this, where it auto saves a lot more spread out.
One thing that is kind of like not present from the older games, which I know might be a bit of a disappointment for some, but like, you know, it's one of those things, changing requirements and interests in games, all that kind of stuff. But like, this is a single player title, so if you're kind of like used to the co-op of older games, you're not going to find it here. Because yeah, I mean, say Secret, Trials, and I think Legend had a bunch of co-op, and yeah, like. I think outside of those three, the series has been mostly a single-player one. Children of Mana had co-op too, actually. But yeah, this title is a fully single-player game.
I'm not so much interested in ruins.
But who knows? You never know. There might be a co-op thing being developed. Online challenge.
PvP.
PvP. Mate, how many
Make it happen, Square.
How many RPGs of this kind of style have like PvP? Because I'm thinking like, okay, it's not an action game, but like Golden Sun had PvP. Really weirdly, like a turn-based PvP like that.
Did it?
Be curious. It did, yeah. If you go to the arena and then you like link up, you could do PvP. Like you have, yeah, really weird. It'd be interesting to see. But yeah, here's the elemental vessels in exploration and combat kind of coming into play here. You've got different kinds of bubbles that could either heal or deal damage. This is a healing bubble, so you can use it to your advantage to like jump in and heal yourself up. But you can also like hit it, I think, with the elemental vessel as well to kind of like charge it or make it do cool things. But yeah. Where's my Ramco gone? There she is.
The ball didn't actually hit them. Okay.
So I'll be to the point. Let me level with you. The Undyne Flask is ridiculous. The damage it deals. It's a straight line kind of like shot of water, and you bubble people. And when an enemy is bubbled, if that bubble explodes, it deals like a metric ton of AoE damage. So if you have like 4 enemies in bubbles next to each other and you pop a bubble, it will cause a chain reaction bubble explosion. So like just knacker an enemy instantly. And it's like...
I do not believe you can be in the bubble indefinitely.
What? A game with a slightly unbalanced mechanic? Couldn't be in my game.
No, not at all. Yeah, the vessels are funny. The vessels are funny. I should mention actually, this is a small thing. If you're a fan of your like little like nods, this place that we're in right now is actually called the Luca Ruins, which is the water area. And if you remember from Secret of Mana, Luca was the name of the custodian of the water palace, where the water seed was, and Undyne was like looking after. So yeah, a nice little reference to like previous stuff.
Her accent kills me.
There's something weird about this water.
Who, Karina's?
Weirder than the obvious.
Perhaps the problems with the water supply pertain to this puzzle.
What now?
The device could yet be a deceptive decoy.
You're not wrong. Let's keep an eye out on the way. Stay sharp.
Palomina, obviously a royal, so very verbose in her language and kind of talks a lot. Good luck, friend.
Win the battle.
See the man in action. He's charging. Charging up.
This elevator will not stop until you defeat every wave of enemies. That's another thing, like some fights are more than one set of enemies. So this is going to be a wave fight. But yeah, if I fill up the bubble in the middle, it will spit out the healing and attack bubbles we just saw earlier. So right now I can get in here. Boom.
So much damage.
It is so much damage.
351, dude.
Previous comment retracted. Never mind. That's not a little unbalanced.
Let's show her class strike too. Why not?
This is such a cool class strike. I love the side one. Again, class strikes are all elemental based on the class. So if those enemies were like resistant to water, you deal rubbish damage. So you've got to be very careful about who's using the class strike. Also, the HP values, they basically denote the strength of the enemy, not that saying that because you can have a fight with yellow, orange, and purple HP. You can have all of them in the same fight. It's just the relative strength of the enemy. Like those knights are just chonky boys, right? They're just chonkers. So they have a lot of HP and they're very, very tanky. Whereas yellow mean they have low HP, quite squishy. You can blow them up. But yeah, as you're seeing, this fight isn't a short one. It does quite last a while, so it is like a real test of your. I was going to say, part of me was going to say patience. No.
Dodged it. Well, I mean, kind of.
Yeah, you have to be patient. You can't like rush these kind of fights because it's very easy, especially on hard mode. Are you playing on hard or normal right now, actually? I assume hard mode. But basically, yeah, hard mode enemies do hit pretty hard. I think the hard mode is balanced pretty well in this game. It's mostly that HP values are quite high on enemy. They are like enemies are tankier on hard mode. But also they do hit very hard. So yeah, it is. Nice.
Remind me to take the stairs next time.
Strange that such a surge of opponents might.
Strange indeed.
That's one way to keep a secret. Make sure no one can reach your lair without defeating a horde of monsters.
Morley's right. There's something up ahead that no one wants us to find. Let's go.
Okay.
More monsters may have been alerted to our maneuvers after that melee.
We were quite.
Core stones are a thing I guess we can quickly just touch on. Essentially, the easiest way to describe them is their materials. Val has a special power, which is discussed in the very early part of the game, where basically when you defeat enemies, sometimes they turn to stone, but they don't just turn to any old stone; they turn to core stones, which are basically the essence of the monster, and they're used as materials. So, yeah, crafting.
A crafting system in my video game? Dang.
Darksaber? I wonder why they gave you that.
Do I have to use it now?
You do whatever you want.
I don't know. I feel like the game is saying something completely different from that, Bowie.
Yeah. I think this is kind of pertinent to a question that was posed earlier, actually, via the chats, and I'd like to kind of quickly cover it. Someone was saying, like, are there sometimes items you can get that you can buy them at a later shop that you might get a weapon early? Yes, there are kind of like certain chests that will give you early weapons or just different weapons that are available from the shops. In that instance, you got an ability seed right before a boss. Hopefully the ability seed that you just got is somewhat relevant to the boss you're going to be fighting, either resistance based, or do they have like a very nasty status ailment that you want to avoid, poison, freezing, whatever, or are they a particular element that you want to kind of like lean into their opposite element, all those kinds of things. For instance, I mean, they did this in Trials of Mana, but just before you fight Zenoa, you can pick up 3 aqua claws, and then you can use aqua weapons to attack the enemy, which is pretty nice.
Should have the right to lay down the law to those who lack it. That system propelled the capital into the.
I'm sure people are going to enjoy this.
Her appointment as
Oh yeah.
Making her will known.
This little squirrely guy is Passar, and he sucks. No,
he's a good guy, right?
He's definitely not at all sketchy. With a moustache that size, with eyebrows like that, he's got to be a good guy.
I don't even see that as a mustache. It looks like a bow tie glued to his face.
Yeah, it's shiny enough. Do we have dancing shopkeepers? It's a Mana game, of course we do.
Of course we do, yeah.
And it's not just the Mr. Motis who dance. The Mrs. Motis
All of them
as well.
dance?
Humanoid shopkeepers do. The others don't.
That's what I thought. I'd remember.
All right. Speaking of remember,
You might remember this guy from somewhere.
The goat. Oh dear. The Full Metal Hugger, otherwise known as Metal Crab, if you're a Final Fantasy Adventure fan. He's back. He's bigger than ever. Because considering we're fighting a boss now, we can probably like show off or like talk about a particular thing as well. Bosses do have different parts of their body that when you like lock onto them, you can like look at different
switch
pieces
here with the right stick.
Yeah.
This guy's not having a good time, unfortunately.
Absolutely melting him, yeah. Certain parts of the enemies will be like a little bit more like susceptible to damage than others. So, like there are areas that you will guarantee a critical hit. So yeah, if you want to try and hunt those down, you can also break areas of their body as well. There's an early boss where if you like break it can't do one of its special moves. But yeah.
I know with some other games you can hit the main target and the limb at the same time. Can you only hit one or the other with this game?
I don't think I've been paying attention enough to know. I think you basically, wherever your reticle is targeting, when you connect with the boss, it uses that as the multiplier, or uses that as the determining hit. Because again, these are AOE hits, and they're not hitting every single part of the monster.
Yeah.
Like the monster takes damage from a source, but then whatever part of the monster you're targeting goes into the conversation. Nice finish. That was an absolute destruction. Magic.
Magic, yeah. So this guy has the problem that if you remember him out of other games, his eyes are his vulnerable spots, right? So like you can hit the eyes, and if you do, he gets staggered. And then you do, as Bowie mentioned, if you hit a part that's vulnerable, you do critical hits all the time, and then he fell down twice. Like, he can actually do more stuff, in theory. When I fought him yesterday for the first time, he did more stuff, and it was kind of scary. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Magic is good.
You didn't get to see Hugger actually do some heavy stuff, because Megas just obliterated him.
Unfortunate. Guess you guys have to play the game yourself.
Yeah, if you want to get bodied by Full Metal Hugger.
We have been chosen to preserve the future by the fairy and the elemental spirits.
Your life is your own to live, not to sacrifice.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of, again, I think is interesting when it comes to like min-maxing, and maybe, I mean, for casual players this won't matter, but for those of you who enjoy challenges and challenge playthroughs, experience in this game is very like boss heavy. Regular encounters don't give too much experience, but bosses give a lot, so it's kind of interesting to kind of like play around. Grinding is a thing that you can do, and you'll maybe get like an extra level here and there, but like you're not really gonna be able to grind.
I think the normal encounters are mostly to catch up on experience if you're behind.
Yeah.
For some reason.
What a relief.
That's a good way of thinking about it. You're doing the bosses should be enough, but yeah, you might now and then need a little bit.
In terms of speedrunning, that's really interesting.
We are on a speedrunning channel.
Yeah.
For the speedrunners out there, yes, you probably don't need to fight random encounters. Probably.
Yeah, my early kind of like theorizing is that maybe on hard mode, like the odd nemesis might be helpful because they give you good experience.
They give a lot of XP, yeah.
But there are things like Valor Flies and Fortune Flies, which are basically colored butterflies that give you either double experience or double lucre.
I haven't seen one, unfortunately, here. But
have you not?
Otherwise,
oh, during this, yeah.
Now. I would have shown it off otherwise, but yeah.
Yeah, so like being able to like pick up the only downside to Valor Flies is they make the enemies more aggressive when you have them. They're harder. So actually, there is an interesting like risk involved.
They are definitely like from experience. I can tell they're harder. They hit harder too.
Hmm.
You want to be ready for that. But yeah, more XP is definitely noticeable. There's another way you can get more XP that you might also recognize from Trials, which is... where are they? Cookies! Cookies!
Yes.
which give you, if you use them for a certain amount of time, more XP in battle, or you also have incense, which increases your loot regain. And then also I bought these elixirs somewhere, which increase your stats. You can get those. Gotta find out where yourself. But this boss also dropped me another a plot item, which will unlock Morley's elemental plot, or the second part of it, I guess. There's no reason not to use it, really. The game says so itself. So we're just going to be using it, and now we can actually use the second part of Morley's elemental plot here, which I haven't played around with yet, because this is kind of like where I am now, really. I only played yesterday, and this is kind of where I ended up, mostly. There's a lot of stuff that seems very good, though. A critical hit rate, 70% in battle, higher. Yeah, sure, that sounds great. You can stun enemies when you crit, all that good stuff. I still need to play around with all this, though. There's a lot to be done.
Yeah, the water element also unlocks like a lot of characters' like third weapon. So Morley actually has his kind of his third weapon available, because he starts with a katana, he gains some daggers, but that one actually gives him his cane, which is a very different kind of style of play style, I think, for Morley. A lot more kind of aerial focused there, which is pretty cool. This is a lovely thing. You don't have to get off pickle to interact with anything on the map. Only combat you need to get off pickle for, but like opening chests, checking elementites, you can do it all on pickle's back.
Yep.
Perhaps we should pause to rest. Oh, no, I'm fine.
Well, I guess we do have a battle here, don't we?
Gotta love it when you don't have to get off the mount to do stuff. It really streamlines the experience.
Very seamless.
Fun.
Yep, very seamless. Do I have to get off for this? Yeah, I do.
I think for that one you do, yeah. After what I just said, I'm a liar.
Well, this one is special.
Not everything can be done on the mount.
Yeah, so this is called an elemental airy, which is basically, it's a set fight that you can do and you get a reward for it. So this will always be these enemies right here. And you gotta beat it within a certain amount of time, if you can see at the top there. I got a timer running. She's like a speedrunner again, hell yeah. Yo, could you at least, like, if you're over there, please kill the Sahagin? Like, not gonna complain, but like, you're not doing any damage, my friends.
All it takes is a timer to change our nature. Speedrunners.
Yeah.
Timer must go fast.
And very angry when the AI don't do their job.
Yeah. Enemy
luckily
reinforcements.
it's not me playing, or else this might be a bit more volatile. Dang you, AI!
So in order to do these elemental areas, you have to have the vessel corresponding to whatever the area has, obviously. I'm not going to be able to make this because...
20 seconds, maybe if you just go full ham, full shinken.
I'm doing shinken. Shinken.
Not bad.
We did it.
There you go.
And then you get a reward for it. This one is Undina's area, so I got cure water for it. But there's for doing these, you may or may not be able to see on the right there. There might be more to these areas than just like, you know, doing these and getting like one reward. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, it essentially kind of gives you. The rewards are also based on the element as well, so you'll kind of like you'll get stronger. Oh, hello, there you go. There's a fortune fly. Double Luca, not really that helpful, right? Is that just the first one he's picked up? Yeah. That's actually a good point for those of you who are like aren't massive on like tutorialization. It's very like simple with its tutorials. It gives you. It pops up the first time you encounter something, so you'll be drip-fed information without being too overwhelmed by like loads and loads of things. You'll just be like, it'll come up and tell you what it is.
I really enjoyed that. Really enjoy that.
That's good to hear, because I did kind of experience that as an issue with like Remake, Rebirth, and 16. It's good to hear that mana doesn't really have that too much all at once.
There's no real tutorial. It will all be like in bursts, and it's very, very great. It never actually you are playing the game. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to watch anything really. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very
I think
seamless.
outside of like one situation at the very beginning of the game, it won't do a thing where it's like you have to do what it's telling you in order to continue the game. Like I think there's only one of those things at the very, very beginning, but generally it's just like this is how it goes. Crack on.
Yeah. So now the buff, I've started the fight, and it will not run out until I end the fight, which is very good as well.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty. Do I have... Oh, I guess there is... I mentioned this briefly earlier. I'm gonna ignore these silk tails, actually. But on maps like these, like there's plenty, right? You have these points, and then you can use your elemental vessel on some points. This one is for Undina's vessel, and this is also the reason you might want to go back. This unlocks like things like this. You can, with Undina's vessel, create bubbles that you can travel into points you maybe wouldn't have gotten to otherwise.
Quite literally swimming through the skies. This kind of feels like... This feels like it would be a Sonic gimmick, honestly. It's very inventive, though.
Yeah,
it's just a nice way to kind of keep you coming back to areas, but also like vessels again having usage. It's just, you know how sometimes you'll like play a game where you'll get an item and you'll use it in the dungeon, you get it, and then it's never relevant again. You know, that's sometimes or outside of very particular gimmicks, it's never usable again. Oh my word!
I'm sorry, I didn't even know he was here. I'm very sorry.
Have you found another one? Is that the second one you found now? Oh,
that's
wow.
the second one I found now. I'm very sorry.
No, it's fine. It's good. No, that was good. I went up there and didn't notice him. So little.
Me neither. I was there.
little cactus exists in the game. There's one you find that's given to you by story, and then since then I have only found one other. Like
I found two. I found two now.
Yeah, you found two. Yeah.
something. This stream will contain spoilers, apparently for the runners as well, too.
Now I know where that one is. Damn
so
it!
sorry.
I was hoping to find them all on my own merit.
I mean, you kind of did, right? Like we're doing this together, so like it's your thing too. Maybe.
It's a very nice way of putting it. Thank you.
I am so sorry.
No, don't need to apologize. It was just funny that it was there. Like, it was just funny that it was there, sticking out of a wall.
Yeah.
It would have been funnier if he'd noticed it and just ran past it, tried to ignore it, and then you'd call them out. Well, what are you doing? There's a cactus back there. Oh, look, you found it.
Yeah, that would have saved my pride. Grizzly syrup as well is a collectible. I don't think it comes back, but there is like an amount that you can find, which you can use to exchange. You can give it to our good friend the Dud Bears, and they'll be very thankful. Dub.
Hello.
Can't change someone's nature, I guess.
This is what Sophis vessel does. If you have a point for it, you can jump very high. And the nice thing about that one is it actually stays on the map, whereas the bubbles have no indicator for Undyne's vessel, which I think is a bit annoying personally, but you know, you just gotta remember that they're there, I guess. They will stay, but yeah, you don't have an indicator for it. And I guess one thing about Little Cactus is you don't actually, I mean, that's why we didn't know it was there, you don't have an indicator for it.
He is like proper hidden.
Proper hidden, an actual hidden thing. Also, we don't know what he does. Obviously, if you find him a lot, but I guess we'll have to find out.
Well, it is available in the menu, actually, what he does.
He does drop diary pages, which I'm not going to show off because, you know, you should do that yourself, but...
Yeah, we said it would contain spoilers, but we're also not trying to give them away for free.
Exactly.
We're not going to show you everything. But yeah, Lil Cactus is a Legend of Mana character. He's definitely come back, much to the enjoyment of many out there.
Yeah, there's like a lot of things from earlier Mana games that are either referenced or, well, just plain straight up in the game. Like we got here on the Prim, for instance.
Ooh.
Cool name. Right. Sure, we'll go to the capital entrance.
The biggest thing to note is that the game is very fun.
No story here. No story here.
No story. None of that.
No.
I mean, you guys are doing a good job to selling it to me. I was kind of mildly interested in this.
Oh.
It's growing on me real quick.
Okay. This was chapter 2, actually. The entirety of it, even. That was fast. I don't want to continue from here. I'll just straight up tell you, I don't want to continue from here.
Yeah, no worries.
There is things and stuff that happen that nobody should see. Smiley face.
Ever.
I mean, you two mentioned swapping earlier. We can get that set up with Ash and real.
Yeah. I mean,
So
what I'll say is, I'm just going to check to make sure I haven't got anything that's like mega. I'm going to show like a little bit of a little bit later in the game. You will see a couple of elemental vessels that eLmaGus hasn't got, but I'm not going to like muck around and show you everything they have to offer. I have a set party that I'm happy with playing, and that's all I'll show. But obviously, there's a lot more available to it from there. But
for everybody in chat, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. So if you're really not down with that, just giving you a heads up. But Ashen will be changing over. There we go.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly. So we're in a bit of a nice area. There's a lot of lovely places in this game, of course. And I'm not going to say where I am, how far I am, or anything like that. But let me quickly run over here, and there we go.
I'm getting spoiled so hard right now.
Are you?
Not really.
I'm gonna go to areas that we've already seen and not to anywhere like brand new. I just wanted to kind of jump on my boy because.
Oh baby.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
He's back.
He's back. And of course, the most
fast
obvious.
as ever. I see.
Oh yeah, he's rapid. There's of course only one question everyone has on their mind, and the answer is. Yeah.
Can you honk? Yes. I can't hear it. You have to tell me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You can honk.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. But yeah, so the world is quite big, even if you're swimming on like the buoy. So yeah, it's quite big. But I wanted to just kind of show off like a little bit of fun of like later things, really. I'm not going to be doing any like mega spoilers.
With that spot right there, can you just fast travel around, or do you have to use the turtle to kind of get around different areas?
As eLmaGus was saying earlier, that the fast travel is either limited to area fast travel, like this, or when you're at a meridian, you can go amongst the continent you're on. So I had to swim to this continent, and then I have meridian travel across this entire continent.
Okay, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I am going to use that to go to. Is it? No, it's not Mount Gala. Is it Mount Gala or is it Airy Passage? It's Lafayette Drifts. Yeah, it is, yeah. So I've done all of this area, right? But I've not actually been back to this area since I've started playing the game. And because I've come back with a whole bunch of extra vessels, a lot more suddenly unlocks. So I've come back here now, and there's a few extra things dotted around for me to go and do. So I was just going to like have a little play around with those. I'm not going to go too much into what my jobs are, but I've got a couple of extra lance jobs and a couple of extra like katana jobs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Again, I'll try and keep it as spoiler-free for like anything major. So what's really cool about this game as well when it comes to exploration, so you can use Sylphid to get up this big hill if you wanted to, but if you have the patience, don't sprint into the walls. You can actually just jump up things as well, so it's actually very free-forming in terms of how you get around. So it's pretty nice to like let you like explore and have a good time. So I was going to quickly just do a couple of elemental areas that I've not seen, just to kind of show you a bit of fun that you can do with like other elemental vessels and kind of the more of the options that weapons have. So like lances now have a charge, like a charging mode. You can do like a charge and then kind of like finish it up there as well. One thing the shield also allows you to do is to like charge up and fortify the shield. This gives you massive like potency buffs depending on like who is kind of like in the party or what class you have. So I shouldn't be using dark at all because I'm doing the dark.
You're doing dark things. Yeah. You can see the blue numbers which indicate that they're resistant to it.
But I want to show you this. This is Elemental Break, the Mana Elemental Break. Now, Magus did have this unlocked, but what Elemental Break is like if you charge up your elemental vessel, you kind of like do this massive elemental shift where the entire arena becomes like your playground, but you get these massive dashes, and as Magus said, it empowers what the actual vessels do. And yeah, it basically makes them just much stronger. And it normally what it does is it applies the ability to like the entire map, which is pretty silly depending on the vessel.
Yep.
Morley here has a nice new move where he charges and then dashes through, and also he goes full Virgil from Devil May Cry. But yeah, there's a lot of like things that you'll like be able to gain. So like now that you've got this charging move, you can use that to space out a little bit better, and all that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of things. I'm under I am very aware that I'm doing poorly here, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm balancing between showing you what I can do without spoiling too much for anyone. Because again, I don't want to show any story stuff right now, and I don't really want to give away too much that we may not know about.
It might be a little bit hard to balance after a whole day of playing, huh?
It's difficult, but yeah, we died. It's okay. I'm being very stingy with my items, but yeah. So the good thing about these is, even though this is a beginning area, this is a thing that I think is quite important to note when it comes to the trials. Is it's not based on the level of the area. They will always be scaled to you. So these are always a source of challenge. That when you're doing like what we can do instead is use the light one instead. So they'll always be difficult. The enemies will always be like a little bit stronger than your level. So like normally about. Go ahead.
Does it have a bottom floor? Like it always starts at like level 60 and then goes up, or does it scale no matter what from like 0 to max level?
It's your level plus 4 or plus 3. This is.
I'm curious if there is actually a floor. Like I wouldn't know. Like how? I am level 14 now, so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say, but I'm not gonna.
Rebirth has something like that with the dynamic difficulty. It'll basically mimic normal, but once you're plus 5 levels on the recommended level, then it scales to you. So it's something a little bit similar.
I tried to do a move at the wrong time. I'm not healing here. I'm being very belligerent and not healing.
Yeah, I've done the same
you should
thing.
Heal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Streamer, you have elixirs, but I need to save those for the difficulty mode. But you're not allowed to use those in the difficult mode. Oh.
That's definitely a remake thing, I have to say.
That my sadness was infinite. My day was definitely ruined.
Oh man, I'll actually play this time. But yeah, even though you have a lot of options, they can still body you. Let me just.
I mean,
what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in. I'm going to bring in the 5th character because they're fun. I'll bring them in over Morley for now.
It's a good thing to show that like even somebody that's very seasoned in this series does actually have a challenge with these things. To be honest, sometimes you kind of like lose depth on it if you don't see somebody like actually struggling.
That's fair. I'll try and actually be good at the game though. I think that's the main issue is I'm just playing poorly. Right, I want to go Holy Saber on Okay, so this is Jalay as well. I'll bring Jalay in for a bit just to kind of show you what he's capable of. This is Jalay. He is a Sproutling, and he's a cheeky little guy. He has an umbrella, which is great. I'm not going to show you all of his weapons, but he has an umbrella. But yeah, he is essentially like your, I guess your cleric of sorts. I guess that's one way of putting it. So has healing abilities, but also has like poison stuff as well. So there's some pretty fun stuff you can do with him. I'm not going to show off too much, but there we go. Poison the enemies. That's kind of handy. But yeah, depending on the weapon you have, you can kind of do some belligerent things. So again, delaying is a thing. So you can do like a dash there, or you can like charge and throw. And if you like let go, it will like slam into the ground. And then I can go to you and finish off with a class strike. Class strikes are really, really powerful. They just like are the biggest thing you can do. And so you'll always be able to do like just like knack at enemies like that. So yeah. Going into these challenges, I mean, because like Magus did his without a class strike ready, right? And was really showing off the power of magic in that situation. If you're looking to focus a little bit more on physical, class strikes are a really good way to help you get through this.
Yeah. You want to have them charged up beforehand, and you don't lose the charge if you used it and you failed. So like you go back to like where you were before. As you can see, he has his class strike ready again. He doesn't need to charge it up.
Yeah. Now these guys would just melt, but yeah. So I mean, this is an early area, so it's a nice feeling to come back to somewhere that's really high level.
I mean,
and body them.
I was going to say that's fun in games too. You go back to earlier areas and just smash the enemies. It's great.
So what I will show is, so Magus earlier ran into a bunch of mobs, right, that were 1 billion levels higher than him. I'm gonna fight some.
Yeah, you have to, apparently. You got a cutscene.
That's what it means. Yeah, so this is how I mean, I'm gonna deal no damage, but class strikes are still ridiculously good, right? So I'm gonna use it up here, and it is gonna be gone. That was a lot of damage, but it's still not over because I've still got to deal with the big boys. So fighting these legitimately, it's very hard, but class strikes will help me get through it. I mean, I'm level 33 right now, and these things are 20 levels higher than me, so it's still a challenge. They're what, 52?
Yeah, 51 or 52. I don't remember.
But yeah, you can definitely turn the tide of battle against certain things if you have the right setup. Using Lumina is completely pointless here.
Being able to beat an enemy 20 levels over is really nice, because some games just like limit your damage so much that that's not even optional. So it's good to know that you can pick a fight and win it without the game being completely tilted against you.
This is a thing that's become a bit more prevalent in modern games, but when it comes to like casting, is that you can move while casting as well. Not much, quite slowly, but like if you do want to just completely, if you want to kind of like just reposition yourself slightly, you can do just that. It might not be very effective or helpful, but oh bloody hell, there's 4 of them.
There is abilities that will help you with moving while casting. Yeah.
So if I was to do this, and God, they are fast. If I was to do,
time to earn his quote-unquote paycheck.
You got the small.
Jesus. It's got the 795.
That Bowie did there, and then there is abilities that will help you with moving or casting faster, moving while casting. All that stuff is also there.
Sorry, I didn't want to die.
That's fine. Don't die.
I mean, it's nice to know that you can run from fights, because a lot of times with modern RPGs like this, you don't even consider it. You know, like Remake didn't really have a good way to skip fights, and Rebirth is a lot better about it, so it's nice to see.
You can... I haven't found a normal encounter that you can't run from yet. Even these level 50 ones, which are way, way higher, you can run from. Boss fights, obviously, you can't run from.
That's fantastic, especially if it has really like super high enemies like this, so that when you get in there, get punched in the face in one shot, you're like, I think I'll leave.
I promise you, if you find them and don't pay attention to the level, not that that would happen to me, but like, will not react fast enough to run away. You're just going to be on the floor.
Definitely not a personal experience. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I've never done anything like that.
So here's what's really cool. Elemental breaks just do. This is actually one of those ones that does a different thing because of the elemental break being different from the vessel. Oh, okay, cool. If you're there, I'm here. But yeah, obviously, like the more you gain, the more you gain things, like the more you can do, and like this is just something I'm enjoying personally. You don't have to do this at all.
There's multiple ways to play combat out. It's great. Like I've just briefly been watching Bowie's personal stream earlier, and he plays completely different than me already. And like, I mean, you did just chapter 2 as well, basically.
Yeah, I did chapter 2. Yeah.
So
this is obviously not chapter 2. This is not chapter 2. Just to be
this is your
clear.
personal save file. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like the more options that I get after where I am right now.
Yeah, it's why I've tried. I mean, I know showing off delay is a bit. Sorry, I chose jobs that were using weapons you've already seen. Like I don't want to show off like the third weapon for Morley and stuff for you. But yeah,
thank you.
I don't know. I had to show something which is going to spoil you, which I do apologize for. But
I've seen these guys before.
Well, I mean, you haven't seen these jobs. That's all. Oh yeah, Lucent Beam is so sick in this game. I love the way it looks. Oh, never mind. Sorry. He just walked up to me and bopped me in one. Okay.
I mean, that's
your nose.
Like.
Oh god, no! Look away! Look away! Look away! What is it? I forgot.
Nice load screen. Just
look away. I did not know that it does story on reload. I didn't know it did that. God, look away.
I'm covering it on my monitor.
I mean, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I don't know how to read anyway, so it means nothing to me.
It is very nice that they give you, like, whenever you load, like, they give you the snippet there where you, like, you know, catch up on the story and what happens. But, like, for this very stream, it's not very good.
I forgot about that. I am sorry. I
mean,
forgot about that.
Since, like, not everybody has a dedicated portion of time to play a game, having those little recaps. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
for sure.
On a week later, once they finally have, they're to the weekend after a week of work.
Yeah, Jalei got bodied. So yeah, this is the water class from Karina, which Megas just unlocked. But yeah, she goes back to Spear for a bit, and she's got a cool little dragon outfit.
I've tried her actually.
You have tried this? It's a good one. I really like her Spear classes actually.
I'm too big of a fan of Dancer. I do enjoy though that she is basically a dragon that uses spears. It's very good.
This one puts everyone into a bubble. I'm gonna die again. Oh damn! Look away! Look away! Look away! Can we just like cut the game feed whilst I load here quickly, producer? Thank you. I'll let you know when it's good. I'm getting bodied.
Now it's Ashen's turn to earn his paycheck.
To be fair, that didn't tell you much about what actually happened from reading it. Okay, we are good. We're back in the game. That didn't actually tell you much about what actually happened in that segment. Luckily, having just read it right now. But it is just like it is just kind of like texture to the story that you probably don't want to know about. That's all.
Yeah, but as you were saying earlier with like the different playstyles, that's the one thing I really enjoy about modern action RPGs is that if there's enough options, everybody kind of plays very unique and different from one another. And at speedrun, you kind of get homogenous, but in casual playthroughs, that's the most fun because everybody has self-expression.
This is the I haven't seen this moon one. I haven't done this one yet, obviously, so this is just nice and new. I'm going to go over to Morley for this one. I keep going the wrong way. Thank you, Morley. I Spies. Morley, what have you got for me, buddy? So all of the class strikes, this is not, I wouldn't call this a spoiler, but the class strikes are basically linked to the weapon. So that it will all be the same animation for the weapon, but the element will change. And that's like kind of the big thing that comes from it. So but the thing is each weapon's class strike will change things up. So like short swords, for example, with Val, is heavy damage on one enemy with minimal splash damage. So very good for like single target. But then you have like the great sword, which is like massive AoE to all, like even damage AoE to all. It's not. I don't think the damage is quite as strong as a single target of the short sword, but you know, it's still pretty good. This is a fun move. Man. Yeah. Okay, pop this down. A little bit of healing. But yeah, not all of the vessels are offensive. I think that's a pretty interesting thing to know. And not all of them are. So it's not just offense and defense that are options. Some of them are utility as well, which I think is quite a good thing to kind of like have. Like it could just be that, you know, all you want to do is just attack, and that's all that's going to happen. But what have I got in terms of abilities here?
Status debuffs can end up doing a lot more work than a lot of people give them credit for. What's really nice though is I'm noticing a lot of really good-looking effects, but they're not so bad to the point where the visual pollution makes it really hard to play. Looks like it's pretty well balanced between shiny and visible.
Am I actually going to run out of time here? Oh my god.
Failure.
Yeah, I failed. I'm bad.
Not a first try.
Right. I'm not going to show you what it all does. You'll see the map, but it doesn't mean much to you if you don't know what's going on. I don't actually... okay, yeah, I don't. Just thinking about what I had in terms of magic.
That is a beefy skill tree. Woo.
There's a lot, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I think there's going to be so much swapping around and experimentation with or learning abilities, then, you know, combining them with other stuff. It's going to be great.
AoE is wonderful. Like, AoE is kind of what I enjoy. We've got, so yeah, Thunderbolt. I'm still using it because it's just that good a spell. Like Magus was using it earlier, and you got it in chapter 2.
I got it just in my playthrough, and I used it, and I'm like, this is good. I like this.
Yeah. Got a couple of extra moves here as well, like spinning the scythe or like throwing the scythe. Like that. What's really cool about this move, actually, this is a great move. You'll learn this later on, but it's like, yeah, being able to like throw the scythe. You can still cast whilst it's out. So like, you can use the scythe to hold an enemy in place, like that, keep them stuck in there, and then cast. And then it'll just be held whilst you're doing something, which is really, really nice, if that's your kind of jam. I don't know why I'm using hers again, but yeah, the scythe CS is just lovely. I will say that all of the costumes I'm showing are ones that have been shown by the Mana Twitter account, so I've made sure to not like pick any like unseen costumes.
Hey, you won.
Yeah,
I did. Finally. It took me long enough. Getting destroyed.
What is it, round 3? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting bodied.
I mean, that is a very much appreciated thing, because I know a lot of us are casual RPG enjoyers and like to minimize the amount of spoilers. So I appreciate you going out of your way for that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I still want to. You want in a show like this, you want to show what's possible, so people can get excited for the potential. But also, you know, like.
Yeah,
not give away too much. I'm really sorry about. I really completely forgot about the fact that it shows story on reload after death. If on the VOD we can just like blank that out, that'd be great. Just edit the VOD, download it, edit it,
just a black screen. I think I can do
that. Just pop it over the game feed. Like the second time was great. Ashen was on it. Thank you, Ashen. Yeah, I forgot about that. What do I want to show off here? I've done that one. Done the Meridian. I was hoping that I had a Greater Eyrie to show, because the Greater Eyries have an interesting thing to them. But I don't. But I think because they're interesting, I don't want to show them.
I was gonna say I wanted to find out myself.
You will find out yourself. Then I will do that for you. I will allow that for you. You're welcome. Yeah, it's I think, I don't know, what I'm just really happy about with this game is the fact that like it's been a long time since we had another one, just in general, and so after so many years, because the series has been around for over 30 years now, it's I'm a little bit older than it. Damn. It's 33 years old now, and to have half of that time of it existing to not include a new game is, you know,
in the main series.
Yeah, in the main line, because like Children, Heroes, Echoes, the remakes, they exist, of course. Just blowing stuff up. But yeah, the I should say that the those like temples where the big strong enemies are, they are like puzzles. There is like a little puzzle attached to them, which I'll let you all like figure out. But yeah, there are nice little things to them. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's got a lot to offer. You know, there's so much growth that happens. Again, like sure, I've shown you a couple of extra elements, but like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much. So much that is like more than that. I mean, like, sure, I could sit there and be like, I could sit there and take you through all of this if I really wanted to, and be like, well, you know, this is the scythe move. This is the scythe move that you learn, or like, you know, that kind of stuff. But like, all of these things, every class will give you some growth to your basic action. They will give you growth to your abilities. They will give you growth to your like team building. They will give you actions to, you know, get around the world map. They will. Everything is always growing. And yeah, I think it's just a really well kind of put together game that's using a lot of what has happened in the series overall to get to this point. I
mean,
which I think is really important. Go ahead.
Even with just the wandering around, I'm noticing that this map is quite massive.
Oh yeah.
So there's just so much territory to cover and just game to be had. What's your feel so far on like the game size? Because I know one of the really like big criticisms or like issues people had with Rebirth was its like length and the long tooth of the side quests. How does this game feel so far with the amount of time you put into it?
I mean, I've played this file. I'm probably about 35 hours into it now. It is a bloated time. Like it is bloated because I've been doing like I've been writing documents. I've been writing things because I've been trying to like do stuff around it. Like all that stuff. I've written up in a spreadsheet, like a cross-reference spreadsheet of the classes, and that took ages to kind of get all the information, kind of like
speedrunner making data lists.
It's just compiled. Like it's just compiled information, and it just took a long time. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I can really show to kind of like. I mean, there's a desert. I could go there maybe, but like I don't want to give any.
There's a desert in a Mana game? No. You're lying.
So like, we wanted a hard skip 3. Is 4 that bad? Chapter 4? Because we could do a little bit of that.
I don't have a save file on chapter 4.
Me neither.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just, yeah, there's just lots of fun you can have with it. It's got a lot going for it. There's, in terms of content, yeah, to kind of go back to the question at hand, the game's length is kind of like, so far it's been like, Trials was a bit of a shorter game in general because it was built around multiple playthroughs with the different characters, right? Because you get different storylines. Because this game doesn't take that approach and it's just like one storyline, then, you know, you're going to... It is a bit more substantial in that regard. Like, there is a bit more of, like, that whole story to it. Like, structure-wise, it kind of, like, follows a standard kind of, like, Mana approach, I'd say, where you kind of, like, slowly build up more and more... what's the word? More and more options to travel, more and more options to kind of like, just like get around, and then more will be available to you, like things that you can travel to that you may not need to actually go to yet, and you have to go somewhere else and all that kind of stuff. Because if you think about Secret of Mana, there's a section in the game where it kind of opens up a little bit, where you can kind of go like one of two ways. Or one of three ways actually, but like there is an order to do it in, but you do get the freedom to go. You know, one thing, I mean, on this little like mini map on my L1, there's still a button that isn't seen there, so there is something to note there that maybe there's, you know, I haven't got a particular traveling option yet, which I think people can probably guess what it is. if you're if you know anything about mana. But yeah, like, even though the areas are kind of like all, I was like, it's very, very different, but you can see how well they kind of do a good job of just like making these places feel expansive. I think I was saying it earlier, the kind of the semi-open world nature of it. You know, you get these big spaces where you can do like a bunch of stuff, but there's, rather than being like one massive open world, it's loads and loads of like slightly smaller spaces that all have their own
small open worlds.
Yeah,
making like little pockets in open areas. Yeah, it's a good way to build it because it kind of defines each individual segment, so it's a lot easier to discuss with other players or kind of explore in a way where you don't feel like you're getting lost every time you wander around like a desert. You're like, okay, where am I? Pull up the map. Where am I? Pull up the map. Where am I?
There's also everywhere has something. Like there is something somewhere. For sure, and if it's only an encounter, but there's hidden stuff everywhere. I say hidden. You can see most things except for the cactus, of course. But
I should go and get that, shouldn't I? I should go and get that cactus you found.
Co-op cactus finding.
Let's go. See, I was under the assumption that like there's like a bit of cactus art on the right-hand side, and I thought I was under the impression that it like lit up when you found a cactus, but apparently it doesn't. So
it doesn't.
It would be nice. Those are the kind of things that are kind of nice. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is maybe like exploring town and kind of showing what's in there if there is a significant amount of things like shops and stuff.
Again, I could probably say like Magus look away. Like, if I go to, I'm trying to think about the cities I can go to because like, again, I mean, it depends on how much people would consider something to be quote unquote a spoiler, you know, like is a village a town and what, it would be a spoiler, but like, you know, it's always a hard line to cross, like, you know.
I won't watch.
I won't watch.
All right, Magus, get out. You're just screwing everything up.
Well, no, like, I mean, the thing is, it's tricky between like how much is good to show and how much is not. Like,
yeah, it's a hard balance to strike when you're. I mean, like, wanting to get people interested in the game, but not also show them the final boss so they don't care anymore.
Oh yeah, well, there's that. I mean, this is an interesting village, I think, because it's kind of like it's almost like it's almost not a village as well. It's a very open space. The village is here, but like it kind of, like it's over there, but like it's one of those things where you think that it's actually a very open and sparse area. There's actually not much to kind of like actually do here, but again, it still drew me in when I was running around it because it had like certain things that kind of I looked around the entire. Shall we go little cactus hunting? Let's go little cactus hunting, shall we? Let's.
Where is he?
Keep your eyes out, everyone. Is there a cactus anywhere around these? These aren't baobab trees, are they?
Got some syrup.
Don't know.
So,
like, where would he be?
How's the side quest density in this game, kind of as you progress?
It's I'm assuming, like, as far as I've gotten, there's always 3 or 4 side quests you get per new city, village, area, whatever you may call it. I haven't gotten one yet while I was going back. So I assume that won't happen too much. Like, there's probably going to be at least like one side quest.
One point where like everything gets new side quests. Yeah.
I feel like mostly what happens in games like that are kind of like built like this a little bit. Is that you'll have a bunch of side quests and like big story segments will happen that kind of changes either, you know, the outlook of the situation or something like that, and then like you get new side quests pop up like daisies. I'm thinking about like the way I'm thinking back to like FF14 now, and then you'll have like no quests, and suddenly you'll do one MSQ
that's a
thing.
Different game, though. Dude.
It is a different game, but like I guess something similar. I mean, because I've gone back to some places and haven't seen side quests in some of them, kind of thing. So it's like, but it's like one popped up somewhere, but it's not actually like you know. It isn't indicative of the entire experience, you know.
Yeah.
One or finding one.
They're very smooth, like so far from what I've experienced. Like it's not going to be overloading you, but you got something else to do in an area. It's like very good. It didn't take me a lot of time to like do the side quest so far. Again, only chapter 2 completed, but yeah.
That's good to hear, because I know a lot of the casual Earth, a lesser extent 16, is just kind of overload from the side quests. It's good to hear that this has a very good balance between story progression and rewarding side quests, and their length is pretty reasonable too.
Yeah, the side quests have been quite straightforward. You know, they're not kind of like they're not breaking any kind of like tradition. You know, you got the whole go here, kill that dude, and grab these items kind of thing, or you know, go and talk to these people and solve their problems. But like, yeah, I think it does add a little bit of color to the wider world, like being able to learn a little bit more about the areas or the people that are inhabiting a region. Like a big part of games like, this, that have such a strong identity within like certain aspects of it, is that, you know, because you've got, you know, very, very clear-cut elemental influences in different regions, is that you know, the personality that comes with it is built through a lot of its aesthetics, but yes, can also, you know, come from little bits of like interesting lore about, you know, maybe the cuisine of a particular village, and you know, because like in Illistana it's the water area, so you know, what do you think is usually coming from an area with a lot of water? Would probably be like, you know, fish is perhaps a big thing there, and so you learn a little bit about the fish and all that kind of like you know, what can seem quite mundane, but also kind of like builds up a sense of like location and what's the word, tradition or culture of like an area.
I guess like in a really vague sense, kind of how have you two found the story so far? Has it really been very good for you, or just kind of like, it's a mana story, or has it been blow away strong so far?
I've been enjoying myself a lot. I think I've been enjoying it. Like I think it is a solid story.
Yes, I agree.
I think the thing is like sorry, go ahead. You go.
There's a lot of things that happened so far that I didn't expect would happen. So I'm a very big fan of that, and I think what helps is like it's very easy to get into this world. It's very, very easy. So you can, and the story is very, very easy to follow.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's going yet, but I am intrigued, I can say.
I'd
very
say that's
intrigued.
A pretty good a pretty good feedback from somebody that's been playing these series for a long period of time. It's normally you end up getting in a rut where like you kind of feel where the game's going to go, and you're like, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, people who have played like games or like read stories for a long time, you know, there's only so many stories you can tell. Like, and you'll get twists, but like the archetype of a story or the general structure of a story, you know, we've been telling stories for, you know, thousands of years. You know, it's one of those things where like there's only so many stories you can tell before you just kind of go, oh yeah, I've heard that one. Is there a little cactus in here? There's not a little cactus in there. Where is he, dude? And there may not be one here, and I might be wasting my time completely, but...
Yeah, right now the assumption is one per map, but, like, you know, we don't know, actually. Like, we have no idea.
Yeah, it could be completely wrong.
And we're just chilling and kind of giving our final thoughts as we get into the end here, so it's fine. It's also nice to kind of see the map specifically, rather than just kind of focusing on combat, too, because it shows the size of the areas and, you know, just overall how it looks and what all there is to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see a little bit more of like the colors or the move sets of like certain weapons, but yeah, I didn't want to show off too much. But yeah, it was just, I just thought I'd kind of throw something else out there. But yeah, suffice to say that like the elemental vessels will be like the main. Hello, that's a 10 Grizzler. What was that? Oh god, I keep. Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was a call there. It's a 10 Grizzler.
10 Grizzler, yeah.
Sorry. Oh man, I just want to find a little cactus now. Like, I'm getting a bit sad. I can't find them.
There must be one here.
Like, honestly,
I will not be denied my cactus.
How the hell have I played this game for 35 hours and I found 2, one of which is a given? Like, it's ridiculous. He's so evasive.
I've got 4 in 9 hours, so like you
right.
actually
you actually suck. Yeah, thanks, buddy.
It's good to hear like the map exploration is rewarding, going out of your way instead of just taking the pure line because of the.
There's so many things. Yeah, there's so not only the cactus. There's other stuff too. Like
yeah,
I know.
Pretty.
With 16, like map exploration is mainly driven by the side quests. Rebirth a little bit. But it's always good to see open world games taking advantage of that entire open world and putting stuff in those places so that when you look around a corner, you find something instead of just a chest full of 10 gil.
it makes your efforts worthwhile. Like this is a thing to talk about, I think, when it comes to open world games, is that your effort to do things should be worthwhile. And this is what I was talking about with Sylphid, like the Sylphid vessel, where sometimes you could just like jump up and use Sylphid to get up to like an area. But you can just get up there yourself. Now, is it considered a waste of time you doing it yourself when you could have just pressed Sylphid? I mean, some may see it that way, but at the same time, the game went out of its way to like, or the developers went out of their way to develop it so you could find your own way up there if you wanted to. And so, like, as a player, sure, maybe I could have been like, oh, man, it could have been so much easier. I didn't have to do all that. But at the same time, I relish the fact that I could do it. Like, I could just do it. That was a terrible jump. Like, I didn't have to have the game, like, let me do it by using something else. I did it of my own merit in a completely different way that was unintended. And that kind of, like, unintentional success is a, I don't know, a nice part of open world games. Oh, no. Oh, okay, it's fine, you see. Oh, jeez.
This man just wants his cactus.
Let's go.
There he is.
I'm getting up there whether you want it or not.
There he is, my boy. Hello, buddy.
I mean, considering how expressive the combat is, I wonder what optimal movement's going to end up looking like.
That's
the question. That is the question.
I always live and die.
I found you. I found you. No one else. I found him. Legend.
Cactus. You're welcome. Speedrun, let's go.
I'll go to his log real quick, just to like not all of them, but just the ones that like. I'll show you the first one, right? Now I was wondering if there was like this is the one you get given to you via story, right? And I was wondering if it was like maybe it would tell you a hint of where he's going, but it doesn't. There's no hints. No. It's just a fun little jaunt through the Rime Falls, and he was frozen. But yeah, and for the like information curious, you do have a full bestiary here, which is like all the enemies. I'm not going to click right because there are bosses, and I don't want to give boss spoilers. But you can learn about all of their weaknesses instantly. It's very, very clear information on the bottom. Though you get a tick if they're really, really like weak against it. A triangle if they're resistant, and I think it's a square if they're immune. Oh no, it's a cross. Mm-hmm. It's a cross. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty simple information that you can find out. But yeah, it's oh, and also for settings, because we did talk about it a little bit. You can change like voice and text and all that kind of stuff. Difficulty is completely malleable at any point. You don't just pick hard mode. Yeah, you don't just pick hard mode and go through with it. You can, if you're finding it too easy, you can bump it up. If you're finding it too hard, you can bump it down. Which is
Getting
a really nice thing.
Can be a really frustrating experience. So having it dynamic is very nice. That's a really good quality of life.
And battle animations, like this is just the class strike. You can turn them off if you don't want to like watch them every single time. They are nice, but after 40 hours of playing, you might be like, I don't want to.
All right, let's do this. Come on, I just want to do the 200 damage. Get me out of here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's a whole lot, and there's a whole lot of stuff you can do. And there's growth in all kinds of places that you may not think. So yeah.
Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of time. Do either of you have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I apologize for the story pop-up showing when I loaded after dying. That was really bad of me. I do apologize. I completely forgot about that. It's because I haven't died in a while, you know. It's just one of those.
That's what I would have said.
No, I just want to say, like, first of all, a big thanks to Square Enix for, supporting, Megas and myself, and also our RPGLB for being able to bring something like this to you. To the Mana devs for not giving up on the series and bringing it back. It's a series that I think Megas can agree is beloved by us, and it's just nice to have it back. So
it is. It truly is. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. It's been very enjoyable so far, and I'm only 9 hours in. I highly recommend you check the game out. There is the demo as well if you're not sure. Like, you can still play the demo, I believe. So if you're not sure, give it a go. It's awesome so far. That's all I got.
And with that, our time draws to a close. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to our stream tech Ashen for keeping everything on track and making my life super easy, especially on a Thursday afternoon. And thanks to Bowie and eLmaGus for showing us this cool game. Honestly, I'm a bit interested in picking up a copy myself. And for anyone else interested, please follow the link I just posted in chat to take a look to getting your own copy. Also, thanks Square Enix for sponsoring this stream, and see everyone next show.